In the heart of the whispering woods, where every sound was soft and every stream sparkled, lived a small bear named Barnaby. This is his story, a tale about learning that the very best advice always comes from the ones who love you most. The Whispering Woods was a truly magical place. Imagine the gentle ripple of a clear stream flowing over smooth pebbles, or the soft swish-whoosh of tall pine trees swaying in a sleepy breeze. Everything was calm. Everything was peaceful. And nestled right in the middle of it all was the Big Bear Cave, home to Barnaby. Barnaby was a little bear with the fluffiest, brownest fur you've ever seen. He lived in a big cozy cave with his Mama Bear and Papa Bear. Their home was always warm and filled with the sweet scent of honey and rich, warm earth. It was the safest, happiest place in the whole world. Every single night, just before he drifted off to sleep, Mama Bear would wrap him in a big, warm hug. She'd whisper in his ear, "Stay close to the path, little one. The forest path keeps you safe and warm." Her voice was like a soft blanket, comforting and kind. And every morning, as the sun peeked over the treetops, Papa Bear would greet him with a big cheerful smile and a gentle pat. "Listen to the quiet sounds of the woods," he would say. "They will tell you where to go and when to come home." His voice was deep and steady, like the heartbeat of the forest itself. Barnaby loved his parents more than anything. He loved their hugs and their smiles and their wise words, but sometimes, just sometimes, the big wide world beyond the familiar path looked so very exciting. The leaves seemed a brighter green, the flowers seemed to smell sweeter, and the mysteries of the woods called to his curious little heart. One evening, as the sky was blushing with the soft, sleepy colors of pink and orange, Barnaby was trotting along the safe, familiar path. He was on his way home, thinking about the warm milk and the wonderful bedtime story that awaited him. The path was worn smooth by his own little paws and the bigger paws of his parents. It was a comforting ribbon winding through the trees, but then something caught his eye. Just off the path, in a tangle of ferns, he saw them. Tiny shimmering lights, winking on and off in the twilight. Blink, blink, soft blink. They were fireflies. They danced and floated in the air like little stars that had tumbled from the night sky. Barnaby stopped. He remembered his mother's words so clearly, "Stay on the path, little one." He knew he should keep going. But the lights. Oh, the lights were so beautiful, so enchanting, so magical. It felt as if they were whispering just to him. "Blink, blink, come look." They seemed to call. Slowly, carefully, Barnaby lifted one paw and took just a single step off the path. The moss was soft and spongy beneath his foot. He took another step, and then another. He followed the mesmerizing dance of the fireflies, his eyes wide with wonder. He forgot all about the warm milk and the bedtime story. He was on an adventure, chasing the tiny, floating stars deeper and deeper into the quiet woods. He followed them past the big oak tree, around the patch of wild berries, and over a little mossy log. With every step, the woods grew thicker, and the familiar path, his safe ribbon home, disappeared behind him. Suddenly, the fireflies decided their dance was over. Zip zip, one by one, they flew up into the treetops and vanished. And just like that, the forest became very, very quiet. It was a different kind of quiet from the gentle peace of the whispering woods. This was a deep, still silence. The friendly whoosh-whoosh of the trees was gone. The familiar rustle of small creatures had stopped. There was only nothing. Barnaby blinked and looked around. In the dim, fading light, everything looked strange and unfamiliar. The trees seemed to stretch up like giants, their branches like long, dark arms. The shadows on the forest floor looked deeper and darker than any he had ever seen. He turned one way, then another. He couldn't see the path. He didn't know which way was home. A little worry began to bubble in his tummy. It felt like a tiny wiggle, then a little waggle. It was a small worry, but it was growing. He sat down on a patch of cool, soft moss, his fluffy brown fur feeling very small in the big, silent woods. He felt a tear prickle in the corner of his eye. But then, he remembered his Papa Bear's words. The deep, steady voice echoed in his memory. "Listen to the quiet sounds of the woods. Barnaby closed his eyes tight. He tried to make his breathing slow and calm, just like Papa Bear had taught him. He listened. He listened with all his might, past the sound of his own thumping heart. At first, he heard nothing but the big silence, but then, very faintly he heard a sound. Hoot hoot! It was a sleepy owl, far, far away, getting ready for the night. He kept listening. He heard the gentle rustle of the wind, not in the big branches below, but way up in the very highest leaves of the tallest trees, and then, he heard it. A faint, familiar sound. Ripple, 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 ripple. It was the sound of the stream, the very same stream that flowed near his cozy cave. It was the sound of home. Barnaby's eyes popped open. He knew that sound. That was the sound that lulled him to sleep every night. He stood up, his little ears twitching, turning his head until the sound was clearest. He followed the gentle ripple sound, moving slowly and carefully through the unfamiliar trees. He stepped over roots and around bushes, keeping his ears tuned to that one hopeful melody. With every step he took towards the sound of the stream, the worry in his tummy grew smaller and smaller. It went from a wiggle-waggle to a tiny flutter, small, smaller. And then it was gone. Soon he saw it, the smooth, worn earth of his very own path. He had never been so happy to see something so simple. He scampered onto it, his paws making a happy familiar pat-pat on the ground. When he finally reached his warm, honey-smelling cave, the light from inside spilled out like a golden hug. And there they were. Mama Bear and Papa Bear were waiting right at the entrance, their faces full of concern that melted into relief the moment they saw him. They didn't scold him. They didn't look cross at all. They just rushed forward and wrapped him in the biggest, warmest hugs. Papa Bear's hug was strong and safe, and Mama Bear's hug was soft and smelled like home. They were just so happy he was safe. Barnaby snuggled into his mother's fur. "I listened to the fireflies instead of you," he whispered, his voice small and a little bit sad. Mama Bear hugged him even tighter. "We knew you would find your way home, because you are a smart little bear," she said gently, stroking his head. "But the path is always the safest way." That night, tucked into his little bed, Barnaby snuggled extra deep under his moss-stuffed quilt. He felt so warm, so loved, and so very, very safe. The little adventure was exciting, but being home, surrounded by love, was the best feeling in the world. He closed his eyes, listening to the gentle tick-tock of the quiet night and the distant, friendly ripple of the stream. And he drifted off into a sweet, peaceful sleep. Dream. Good night. The story of Barnaby reminds us all that listening to the safe, gentle guidance of those who love us is the surest way to stay warm, happy, and always on the right path. Thank you for joining us in the Whispering Woods today. We hope to see you again soon for another story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures.